Hello guys, this is Sapphire Alchemy, and I'm here with the review of Dracula, which played last Friday on NBC at 10 o'clock. Now I would say it was a great pilot. From that pilot, I know this show is gonna be good. All right, so the episode starts off in Romania. It's 1881. We see two men, digging, and they come upon this tomb. It's a coffin, and around the I would say, I guess you say, the perimeter of the coffin, like, the outside of it is like these pictures, and some of them is like pictures of people being impaled on a stake. Okay. And so they open up the iron coffin to reveal this corpse, and his mouth is open. You can see he has fangs. So as one of the diggers look into the coffin, he's like, oh man, we're gonna be rich, and then he goes, because he just got killed by the other dude. So as he's bleeding, the blood bleeds out into the mouth of the corpse, and as the blood is bleeding into his mouth, the body starts to I don't want to say decompose, because that's what happens when your body, when it dies, it starts to reanimate. So, it goes from a corpse looking to beautiful, younger looking skin. And hello, Dracula. He's alive. Then we fast forward to 1896. We're in London. We have this young man getting ready for this demonstration. His name is Alexander Grayson. How that rhymed. We then see down into the ballroom. We go to the ballroom where we see Lucy, Mina, and Jonathan enter the ballroom. Lucy decides to go off and mingle, and while Jonathan, talk for a minute. Blah, blah, blah. So we then have Alexander Grayson come down the staircase, and he takes one glimpse at Mina, and then we're thrown into a flashback of Grayson and this young woman, on the bed, kissing, loving each other, stuff like that. Then we go back to present day. Grayson then tells Renfield, that's the black dude, to go find everything he can on this young woman, Mina. And then he goes around and mingles with some people, like, hey, how you doing? Welcome, thank you for coming, blah, blah, blah. He then walks up and talks to Jonathan, and then Mina comes up, and they introduce her. I'm Mina. I'm Alexander Grayson. How you doing? And then we are shown another man. We have no idea who he is. It's just like, he just walks up, and you're like, okay, obviously he's important because they're showing him for a reason. And then we have Renfield talk to Mr. Hawker, Jonathan Hawker, and tells him that Grayson wants him to come in and do an interview. Comes in at 4, do an interview, Grayson. Grayson then begins his demonstration, does a nice little speech about Thomas Edison and the lights and everything, and he gives everybody like this light bulb, and pretty much saying that, we'll be able to use electricity without actually having like to, like plug into like a socket or something like that. And so Renfield then signals the workers to start on phase 1, and then phase 2, and as we see, like, obviously they're working with some magnets, and they, working it, making it work, and then the bulb in Mina's hand starts to glow first, and then all the bulbs start glowing, so people are like, wow, how is he doing this? And one dude's like so skeptical, like, where's the string? I don't believe this. Where's the string? So he's like looking for string. There's no string. And as, the bulbs are low, the lighting, chaos is happening in the factory because it's too much. It's like a little too much. So people are like, oh, at the factory. Oh. And so they eventually stop. Then Lucy then introduces her to Grayson, being the flirtatious one that she is. Like, hello. He's like, hello. And then Alexander Grayson then talks to this lady in this green dress. Now, her dress... Now, I'm pretty sure that the fact that it is 96, that I'm pretty sure You know, we're not in the Victorian era yet. I believe. Okay, I don't think Queen Victoria is queen yet. But the fact that her dress, I think, would be considered risque for that time period because her breast is like, of course she got her breast is like all the way up here. Like I don't even think she could breathe. Like seriously, like they're just. Whoo. I'm like, okay, I know this. I know it's time frame when you had coursing, but I'm pretty sure you would be more modest than that. And I'm just saying, she just like, well, her dress was pretty though. It was nice, pretty green. Then the event is over and this man walks up to Grayson and he's like kind of like threatening him, talking about, you know, your business will never prosper and stuff like that. You know, just talking smack, you know. And Grayson's like, really? It's like, because he wants to expand into America. So we didn't have Jonathan and his friend talking about, you know, what happened to the ball, and we have Lucy and Mina also talking, and they hear some like noise outside, like some howling wolves or something. So they're like, "Ooh, that's kind of scary." And then the businessman that was talking on smack, his name is Clyde, talking all this stuff to Grayson. He is then attacked by something. And then later we see Renfro Grayson talking about the fact that Grayson didn't attack that man. Grayson like, well, he had to come in. I gotta, you know, move my business and stuff like that. You know, it was a business move. And then later we are seeing this box. It looks like a box where you used to like keep hats or something in, you know. And we see it travel to the man that we seen earlier at the ball. Is being carried by the lady who's in the green dress. That's what I'm calling her, the lady in the green dress. And we find out that inside is the head of the businessman. So obviously he was decapitated. And they talk about it like, we got to keep an eye on him and stuff like that. So obviously they know that Grayson is a vampire because they are. I'm guessing they're hunters. You know, like vampire hunters. So you know they're like, we haven't had a vampire attack in a while, and now we got this. So blah blah blah. You know, talk about the vampire thing. And then later, we have Mina is in class. She's the only female, so I'm guessing women probably wasn't much, told that, hey, go get an education. And obviously it's like some sort of science class because they're talking about, light and Edison and stuff like that. And Mina then talks to him later, talking about the position of his research center, like, people who pass the exam will be get the research center. And he says that Mina is good in class, it's just her surgical techniques aren't that good, So with surgical, you gotta, cause you surgery, you gotta have a steady hand. You can't have like a hand going anywhere because if you accidentally cut something, you then killed somebody. Like, you try and do heart surgery, you accidentally cut like the wrong artery. Oh snap, you then killed the person. So with Jonathan Hawker, he finally goes to Alexander Grayson's place, and he's preparing to do an interview. Now it is daylight. So we have this, they're in this like really, really nice room. And this light is like shining from the window. And Grayson, obviously he's staying in the shadows the whole time, but he doesn't make it like so obvious. Like he doesn't make it so obvious. Like when he shakes a man's hand, it's in the sunlight, but he keeps a straight face and we don't see that it actually burned him till he turns away and he heals up. Then he's like, oh, you want to drink? Jonathan Hawk's like, oh no. And his chair that Grayson has to sit in is closer to the sunlight. So he just, as he sits in, he slowly backs it up so he's still in the shadows and they conduct the interview. So as he's talking about, his business plans and everything, you see Jonathan writing the thing like, visionary, ego, delusional, just stuff like that. So I'm like, really, that's how you take notes on an interview? Really? So then the interview concludes, and Jonathan leaves to go, write it up. We then see Mina waiting outside. As class is over, and we have Grayson watching her from afar. Lucy, her friend, arrives, and they then walk on home. Walk together in them because it is dark. She's a woman. Grayson then sees some young woman just walking by. Do a little flirtatious little look, like hey. And then we see her then we see him later biting into her neck, drinking her blood. I'm like, really, dude? Really? Were you that thirsty? You were that thirsty. Mina and Jonathan later attend an opera, which was probably pretty much like going to the movies back then. Like, you went to the opera, And then we have the lady in the green dress is there as well, but everybody's looking at her because her dress is like so unmodest for that time frame. Like her breast is like she has a I think what they call it, the underbust type corset on is the one that kind of pushes your bust up instead of an overbust which kind of covers it. We then have that Ingrid dress. She has a little binoculars on. She's they preparing to watch the opera, and you have the opera going on. There's all that stuff going on, and we have Grayson appearing from the shadows, and he sits down to the lady in the green dress, and they talk for a minute, and then he reaches his hand under her dress, and she's like, "Ooh," and then he starts to kiss her and stuff. And while he's pretty much making out with her at the opera, he looks over and he's watching Mina and Jonathan. Well, pretty much just Mina. I'm like, okay, getting freaky at the opera. Later, we see two other businessmen. They talking about what happened with Clyde and stuff like that, and they talking about his wife, who is the lady in the green dress. And they talking about how she's being sort of disrespectful, because I'm guessing at that time frame, I'm like, she's a widow though. It's not like she's married, but I'm guessing is the whole thing of modesty also during that time frame of how a woman was supposed to act, and the fact that apparently people must have seen her with Grayson, which I'm like, it's not like they was actually hiding. I mean, you are in a booth, so if somebody had binoculars, all they gotta do is look up and like, oh snap, what is widow such and such doing with Mr. Grayson? Like, I don't think that is part of the opera. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, all in a public place. I'm just saying somebody's gonna probably eventually catch you. And so we have Grayson who's on the rooftop. He ends up having to engage in this fight with this hunter named Kruger. Wait, is it Kruger? Yeah, Kruger. And then they fighting and stuff, and he's talking about, and Grayson tells him that I'm gonna take down your order. So apparently there's more of them, obviously. And he then slices the dude's throat, and he says, I'm the first," or something like that. "I'm Dracula." I'm like, yes. And then we see the widow, the lady, and I keep calling her the lady in the green dress because I keep forget. I can't remember if they said her name or not. But I'm calling her the lady in the green dress. The lady in green dress. We see her like in some sort of basement or something, and she's like practicing, getting her Electra on. And by, if you don't know what I mean by Electra on, watch the movie Electra. But she's practicing with her like a little sword and stuff, slicing sandbags and stuff. And then we see her go over to this cage where there's a vampire in there, and she's asking the lady, questions like, who's your sire, who's your maker, who made you? And she's like, there's gonna be more of us, and do all this and stuff. And the woman like, yeah, whatever, and just walks away. But it's in Grayson, who returns to his home, and the professor, professor, he walks in and he talks about the widow and Clyde, saying, you don't be, pretty much saying, don't be too, right, like, do you, man, a little bit reckless. And we find out that it was the professor who went and found Dracula and revived him for some sort of means, which, some sort of means which we have yet to discover. Obviously we'll learn more in subsequent episodes. And that the Order of the Dragon, which is the hunters, are pretty much Dracula's enemy, which I think is kind of weird because I think Dracula actually means dragon or something. I can't remember. I remember I looked it up. But I thought, Dracula. I thought that would be something more on Dracula's line. The Order of the Dragon or something. Anyway. And we realized that Dracula is mad at the Order because they were the ones, we go through a flashback, they were the ones who burned his wife at the stake on basis of, heresy. Back then, obviously if you caught doing certain things, obviously as a woman, you was easily condemned to be a witch. So they burnt her at the stake, and he's going to get his revenge. So love never dies, if you remember from the 1993 movie. And we then see Mina awaken from a sleep as if she just dreamt about the flashback. So it's like, ooh. So for the pilot episode of Dracula, it was really, really good. I loved it. I can't wait for second episode and Jonathan, I think he is really. I think he's a good actor to portray Dracula for this new day and age. So I will see you guys next Friday for Dracula. And comment, rate, subscribe.